Good morning, guys. Want to make a video this morning to uh, give you a little information on a full mortise tang knife. I've probably mentioned them, and you've probably seen me calling them full mortise tang knives. So let me just start at the beginning on what I'm talking about here for those of you who may not know what a tang is. Really, it's not a fruit drink or anything. It's where the handle goes on a knife. There are full tang knives, there are mortise tang knives, and there are hidden tang knives. They may be called by different names according to the person who's making them, but those are the three main handle types that you have. Then we're talking about the metal that goes through the material that you're putting on for your handle material. We're talking about when you say a tang, you're talking about the metal part of that handle. In a full mortise tang, you have two different types. Not really. The reason, let me put it that way, the reason you call it a full mortise tang is because the handle goes all the way through the material. Okay. And the reason that you call it a mortise tang is because the metal only shows on the top and on the butt at the end. The bottom of it, you do not see the metal. Okay, that's a full mortise tang. Now, you can have a mortise tang knife, but it's usually those cheaper knives used to where they would metal was scarce or they expensive, and they would only put it about halfway of the handle, and they would only mortise out at about half way down the handle, and then put it on with pins or epoxy or something. So that's the best I can explain it as for what a full mortise tang is. The best example for one of those would be a Model 14, I suppose. In today's world, Randall knives are probably the best known handmade knives around, and it's debatable where they're semi-production knives is about what they are, but anyhow, they are still made by hand though, and that Model 14 is one of their main knives that they make, and was used extensively, I think, in Vietnam. There's also the Model 15, which they have, that is a full mortise tang. So I wanted to kind of give you the pros and cons on the full mortise tang. The reason is that sometimes you'll see me make some, and they are actually a little easier to make than what the hidden tang knife is. I would not say they are easier to make than the full tang knife. Full tang knife to me is easier to make than any of them. When you go to put a hilt on a knife, it makes it a little more difficult when you're making the knife. When you're putting a hilt over the handle, and putting it up there, and then you got to put the handle behind the hilt. Well, that complicates things somewhat. The handle on a full mortise tang, one of the pros is that the bottom of that handle can be shaped in several different ways. That's an advantage over the full tang, because once you do the full tang, well, that's the way it's going to be. The pattern is going to be that handle shape, and you can make up several of the full mortise tangs, and then you can add, or whether you want a straight handle, or whether you want a multi-finger groove handle, or whether you want a single finger groove handle, or you want a sow belly handle, whichever type handle you wanted, that you can put on the knife, and on the bottom, shaping the bottom of it. When you're doing this by hand, well, you can do those kind of things. Also, it's stronger, supposedly, than the hidden tang knife, because there's more metal there. The thickness from the top to the bottom will be somewhere between 3/4 and 7/8 inch from top to the bottom, the width from top to bottom of the tang itself. So what you do is you just take a milling machine and you groove out a groove down a block, and you slip it on with epoxy in the groove, and that's it. The Buxton Fighter, they had no pins at all, I don't think, in those, and so that's makes it a little easier to build, faster, makes it a little faster, and probably the reason that Bo started out doing those that way was because he was needing to do them faster, with the war going on and everything, and trying to spit out enough knives. Well, sometimes when you're doing them by hand, well, you look for a kind of a way to do it semi-production, and so that was, I'm guessing, okay, I'm not sure, but I've heard that. Also, you don't have to, the pro is you don't have to make a butt cap for it. So, and when you're making the butt caps, well, that just takes up more time, especially the way I make them, and where I mortise them onto the back of the handle, and have to drill a hole in the end of the tang and all that stuff, and thread it, and so I don't have to do all of that, so it makes it a little easier that way, and builds faster. Some of the cons are, excuse me, you have to have a block. You'll notice that most of Randall's, I suppose all his, are done with a block of micarta that is grooved out, slipped onto the handle and onto the tang, and then with epoxy in it that holds it. I'm guessing he may drill holes in the tang and all to help with the stabilization and help hold it. And he puts a thong hole tube through the back of it, which is good. It's a strong knife, holds up very well, fine doing it that way. But I came up with a little way to do that a little differently. It takes a little longer to do it. Sometimes you can't find the blocks of material in micarta that you want, so you can do it this way, and I do this somewhat, and it makes a pretty knife when you do it this way. I'll show you here. What I do is I just take a regular piece of micarta, a 3/8 inch piece, and I put the groove down it, and I put it on the knife like this. You can see the top is metal, the back is metal, and then I can put slabs on it just like I do with a full tang knife, and then you can shape the bottom of it however you want. Pardon me, I got the crud this morning. So that's that's the cons in it, is that finding the blocks. Okay, now you can find wood in blocks, a good bit of wood in a block like this, where you can mortise it out and do it, but you're limited sometimes on the McCarter you can use, and it limits you on the spacers and doing a multi-type handle. You have to do those with hidden tang knives if you're going to do leather and bone, or leather and stag, and spacers in it, and make it a real pretty handle. Well, you're limited. You can't do that with not feasibly with the full mortise tang. But it is a good strong knife, and it will serve well that way. I'll be offering some of those, and I'm considering doing them with a list where you can order the color handle, the shape handle, and the brass or steel hilt, stainless steel hilt or not. Thinking about doing that. I'll let you know if I can get it done, and then perhaps price them a little lower for the beginning price, because those are really easier to build for me than those hidden tang knives, and they're a good strong knife, and they look good, especially when you put a different color. This first piece on here, you can put a different color, and then it shows liners down each side, and at the back, and then you put your slabs on it another color, and it makes a pretty knife like that. But anyhow, I just thought I would give you all that information this morning. I know this is probably getting too long, but anyhow, I wanted to let y'all know what I'm doing. Y'all have a great day.